going on, everyone? Welcome to the Evercast, your weekly dose of Evercade goodness. I am one of your hosts, Rich. I'm here with Crow. What's going on? What's going on, man?
Did you hear that?
Did. Yes.
Okay, cool. Since my mic wasn't working to begin with, I figured maybe everything else broke too.
And we're also with Pete, the Ever-Canadian himself. What's going on, Pete?
I'm sick. Happy Canada Day, everybody.
Oh, man.
Stupid allergies, stupid cold.
Yeah. Is it every day Canada Day for you?
Well, sure, but this is our 4th of July kind of thing.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so happy Canada Day, all of those who celebrating. We're right around the corner from July 4th over here in the States. And we are late, just like the old days.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here on the Evercast.
It's
because as we can tell, I am actually hosting the Evercast. So as per our usual arrangement, something comes in, real world life intrudes into the hosting duties. And of course, that's what happens. But it's okay, because everything is actually going to be fine, it's great. It was actually a minor emergency that started last night, and then we had to fix some stuff this morning.
I don't know. Minor emergencies don't tend to take longer than an hour.
Yeah, well, you know,
That's why it's minor.
It's when add-ons get placed into the minor emergency that it then becomes an issue. Like I had everything like perfectly set. I was like, oh sweet, you got the schedule. You do this. It started at 9 this morning. I was like, I do this, and then I'm ready. And then it was like, do this, and then I get a call. It's like, oh, while you're out, can you do this? And I was like, okay, cool. So I did that. And I was like, oh, by the way, we have to leave at X. So can you do this other thing too? And it's like, oh, all right.
Happens to me every time. I was like, okay, we got to start at 10. I got plenty of time. And then I look at my, oh man, I got to get ready in 10 minutes.
Yeah. So, but anyway, you know who wasn't late? All of this amazing chat in here. What's going on to Julian D, Gene Joke? What's going on? Archive footage. What's up? Dan Nassick gets in here with fire. What's going on? Lloyd R. Jim. Phantom Fiction got some. Oh, Skeletrex is in here. We got some heavy Good Times Club energy in here. What's going on? Nick the Toy Collector's in here. Jason Shires, he's hanging in. Rick B, hey, how's it going? Snake Eater 75. I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, man? And are we caught up with all the hellos? DJC Game Studios is in here. What's up?
And Nick the
Chuck,
Toy
what's going on?
Collector.
And Mike Tendo Power.
Who's mentioning that my fan's going on? But my fan is always going on. I don't know. It's just noticeable today for some reason.
Nice. Yeah, it's actually the first time I've noticed it too.
Your camera frame rate's bad.
Hey, bro. Welcome in.
My camera frame rate?
That's why we're noticing it.
Oh, it's bad. So you're noticing it?
The camera
It doesn't
frame
look
rate?
messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
So.
Well, when things start breaking, I start to think that everything's broken.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we've got like we're in the summer lull. I think we've reached the summer lull. There hasn't been a lot of Evercade news to speak of. There's not been a lot of like advertisements or anything else coming out of.
But we know when the next news is coming out. So
well, it's the next showcase, right? It's supposed to be. Hopefully, it's end of July, so we're all back and can cover it.
About 4 weeks away now, right?
Did they say a specific date for it, or did they just say?
No, they didn't.
No, my money's on the 26th though.
They're all in south of Spain right now.
Yeah. So
isn't that where all English people go for holidays? Spain.
What, in Spain?
I think so.
I don't know. Is that true? Chat, let us know. Do you guys go to Spain when you go to holiday?
I'm stereotyping. It's stereotyping day for me today.
I heard that the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plane.
Ooh.
Wow.
Aw, crap.
But not on the shore.
My inventory's full. That sucks.
Ballistic Coffee Boy's in the house. And RMGB TV. What's going on? Yeah, well, Ballistic woke up late, but you're right on time for the show. We've only been here for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're just
That
chilling.
isn't here, so we started our usual time, which is like 20 minutes late.
That's right. So I don't know. I figure like as we're doing like this, the intro and chat stuff, we know we're getting indies, right? Indies is the thing that's going to be there. do you think? I mean, is there a major indie like publisher that isn't already represented, right?
Probably.
And
I would if I had to think about it for a second, and I'd say yes.
So do you think that would be one of the 2 cartridges introduced, because they slotted in 2 carts that are specifically for indie? Like
I'm gonna throw this out there. What if it's Shovel Knight?
Ooh, that would be
Yacht Games.
Yacht Club, yeah.
Yacht Club, yeah.
Now, does Yacht Club have Shovel Knight and like a whole bunch of different like Shovel Knight DLCs? That'd be enough for a standalone, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would think so. If it was just Shovel Knight Treasure Trove on 1 cartridge, that would be fine.
Yeah, that would be
because I think that's like 5. I think that's 5 games altogether.
I think it is. Yeah, that would be epic. That'd be an epic collection.
What does Yacht Games make again?
Yacht Club?
Shovel Knight.
Besides Shovel Knight, I think that's it.
Oh yeah, I would take that and Rogue Legacy. That series, Rogue Legacy 1 or 2, is one of my favorite series of all time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not pretty good. They're the best.
Let me see if there's anything else other than. Let me go to. We're going to the.
Well, here's the thing: is I should know because, like I buy a lot of indie games off of Steam, especially since like the Steam Summer Sale has started. So like I bought like a whole bunch of stuff. Now I don't even remember what I bought.
I didn't buy any indie yet so far. I just bought Left 4 Dead 2 for $1.
Because usually if there's like, if there was a game I was interested in, and I was like, oh, there's a bundle with a whole bunch of other games, it's like, okay, I'll buy the whole bundle.
Would Shovel Knight be considered shovelware? Oh no, definitely not. Definitely not, sir.
Awesome. Was that considered a pun?
I think so. That was definitely a pun. I mean, and then Dan Nastic's in there with another pun-like statement. And why is there complete radio silence around Hyper Super Mega Tech Turbo?
Compute Global Hyper Meganet.
Don't get me started. I'm in a good mood, except I'm sick.
Well, I mean, I think the radio silence is, okay, they announced the existence of the thing, and then they were like, oh, wait.
We don't have anything.
They might not have the products behind it, so you gotta dial that back a little. So, but who knows?
Looks like I bought a game just solely based on the name of it because I saw somebody else bought it and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Soda Drinker Pro.
Soda Drinker Pro.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, is it like Tapper?
I think it's like a first-person soda drinker.
It's a first-person game.
That's what it looked like to me from the screenshots. Hey, how much did I pay for it? Probably like, what did I pay for it? $1.34. That's what it's on sale for. So I was like, okay, I'll buy it. I'll buy a game, Soda Drinker Pro.
Yeah, that's.
I do like myself some Coke Zero every now and then.
Yeah. So, but yeah, getting back to, I mean, a Yacht Club, collection 1, basically they would just call it Shovel Knight, right? They would just call it the Shovel Knight collection.
Yeah, they would. It would be called the Shovel Knight collection.
Do they make any other games? I can't remember.
They make what?
Do they make any other type of games?
I don't know.
Just Shovel Knight?
Yeah. Well, they're coming out with new games. Here, I'll show you. I'm looking at the website right now. So there's the Yacht Club Games website right here. They've got Mina the Hollower, which let's see what this looks like. Oh, it was on a Kickstarter, fully funded. Okay, we got some.
Like many of the. So it's a Game Boy Color game. It said.
Oh, look at that.
In the style of Game Boy Color, it says. So it's not really Game Boy Color.
No, it was way more advancing for Game Boy Color than
What's widescreen to begin with? It's not the right aspect ratio for a Game Boy Color game.
I think even more colors and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was like when they said that Alwa's Awakening is inspired by any Nintendo 8-bit, but the version we got on the Evercade was the actual NES version. But the version they said was inspired by the NES looks way better than the actual NES version.
Yeah. I mean, this looks pretty cool. It definitely almost like a Zelda like. I would play that for sure. So there's that one. But yeah, other than that, there was, it's lots of Shovel Knight and then Cyber Shadow. But I haven't heard of Cyber Shadow. Which one this one is? It's like a Castlevania
like Ninja
kind of
Gaiden in a way.
Yeah, or Ninja Gaiden, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool.
Did that come out on the Switch or something?
I bet you it's all on the moderns, yeah. Steam, Switch.
Is that out now, or is that coming?
I think
soon?
this one is out.
Cyber Shadow, it's called.
Look at that. That's pretty cool. Let's see if we got platforms listed.
Yeah, it's out. $13.99.
Yeah, release date was July 20.
July 26, or sorry, January 26, 2021.
Yes, this has been out for a while. Available for Steam, Switch.
I'll add that to my wish list.
PlayStation, Xbox.
That's pretty cool.
Cool. That's very neat. But
I'm not gonna pay $13.99.
Yeah, the more than likely, if they were to do a thing, Shovel Knight Treasure Trove would be it, right? Because it's all of them.
Yeah, I believe so. Look, there's all of them.
Yeah. So it includes all of the things. So I'd be all about that.
I wonder how much that goes for, because maybe if it's let's see, what are they asking for that on Steam? $20. So for Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, is that on sale? Or is that not on sale? Let's see.
I mean, if it's $20,
no, that's on sale. It's 50% off because of the Steam Summer Sale. So normally it would be $40. So something tells me that if they were to do this, they'd split it into two cartridges just to keep them at $20 each.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But that would be epic. I'd play some Shovel Knight.
And I thought
was it the Shovel Knight puzzle game? Was it Shovel Knight? Was it a fighter?
Shovel Knight's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, so you guess you'd get, the Shovel Knight propers on one collection, and then like the puzzle or the other games on a different cart. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be neat.
Oh, a Bonk. Yeah, Bonk collection, DJC says. I'm so mad that they never put Bonk in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, right? Yeah, Bonk, Konami's, yeah. Atari Arcade Collection. Didn't we have that? Isn't Warlords on Arcade 1?
Yes, actually it is. The arcade version. Yeah. Yeah, we have it.
We're there. We're there, Chuck.
It's the 4-player version too. It's not the 2-player version.
Yeah. It's pretty good. So Cyber Shadow's pretty good from what I played of it. Nice. Cyber Shadow so good it's not even funny. Wow, okay. I mean, hey, let's get some of that over here, because why not, right?
I added it to my wish list. The only reason I'm not buying it now is because I have so many games I've just bought.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy more. It's like when I went to the same Steam Summer Sale, and I was like, okay, I went through my wish list. I started adding stuff. I was like, okay, go to the cart. $200. No, I need to take some of this stuff out.
Nice. Yeah, and Center's thinking Always Legacy. I mean, that is kind of like an obvious, like, we already have Awakening. Why not continue the series? Do you think though Always Legacy could be a standalone, or does it need to be a dual cart?
I think that's one game. Always Legacy is a sequel to Always Awakening.
Yeah. Do you think do you think though, like, the question is, like, is it good enough to be like, here's our first cart, one game on a cart only, it's Always Legacy?
I don't know. I don't know anything about how that game or how long it is, or I know it exists. That's all I know about it.
Yeah. I would think that would be another duel, but what do you pair it with?
Well, there is Always Awakening, the regular version.
That's true. Double Always.
Because we got the 8-bit version. That was actually the version. It was the demake of Always Awakening. It's kind of a demake, but they added more stuff to it too. So it's kind of a weird spot.
Yeah.
But
Nick the toy collector is asking, do we need 5 variations of Shovel Knight? I mean,
it's not
why not?
Variations. They're different games.
Yeah, they're like the three different main games are they're different story and different
I know
stuff.
The one game you don't even play is Shovel Knight. You play as Plague Knight. It's like he's got a different mechanic entirely.
Yep, 100%. Yep, and then like I said, there was like a puzzle game and then almost like a fighting game. Like Showdown is a completely different game. So yeah, I mean, I would say yes. Like, why not? Just throw them all on there. I mean, other than price, right? Because you said there was $40 for the treasure trove right now.
But yeah. But during the Steam sale, you can get it all for $20, which I may have to do. But
yeah, that's
or not, because even if I do buy it, I don't know if I'll play it right away.
I mean, I think the thing though is that I'm leaning towards 100%. It's going to be like something that is of that kind of level. One of them, at least. One of the two that's getting announced is going to be that kind of level. And to be honest, I think both of them might be like bigger games, and they're either like a collection of the different types of that game, or there's going to be two dual carts that'll have bigger indie games. The other question too was Dan Nastic was saying there's native, would they make it native ports? I mean, I would say yes.
Because they're not NES ROMs, so that in itself would say that it would have to be a native port, like they did with what was the one they did recently? Cathedral.
Cathedral, right? Yep. So that would be a pretty clear indicator that would be what they were doing. Now
they would have to do that, yeah.
Now that means though, because they're going to announce them in the middle of this, like they're in the July slot, they're announcing all these carts' existence, right? Does that mean that work's already done? Is that why they've been so quiet? Is because they've been just ducking down and getting the work done for these games?
Well, I think they're just trying to spread out all the information they have over time to keep things relevant, so people keep talking about it. They could have even if they knew about it last month, they probably let's hold off, and so we have something to talk about next time. Because who knows? Maybe it was because they didn't want one thing to overshadow everything else. Like, like the last one, they had all this information, all these details and stuff. But I don't know what most people would consider was the highlight of that video, but it's probably either the Duke Nukem 3D, or it was the Duke remasters, or it was the hardware variation of the Atomic Edition of the Evercade VS. So, if they had some other major stuff, maybe they wouldn't want to put it in that video too. Let that sink in for a while, and then, in July, come up with new stuff. Get a little bit of breathing room. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, that is kind of a good question, though. Like of all of the things that got announced, that's actually a good poll. Ed should do that for maybe next week or something like that, and be like, hey, what was the biggest hit from that previous showcase? Mm-hmm. Was it just the existence of the Duke games? Was it the fact that Evercade collectors are getting a limited edition console based on a property? Was it, the fact that someone was a super fan of Sunsoft or any of the other publishers, and we're getting more of that kind of stuff? The Pico's finally crossing over to the arcades land. Like, which one? So, for me, it's probably the software, the Duke software, because that like the fact that we're getting that whole trilogy plus the other games in two different collections, that's pretty solid for me. Yeah, and the fact that they're doing all of that internal work on 1 and 2 and like actually remastering it, that's another solid thing for me too.
For me, I don't know if I'd say if it was the hardware variation of the VS, but for the games, it was definitely Duke Nukem Remastered 1 and 2, because I hadn't played those before.
Phantom's like, I think we're going to show without talking about Ed's poll.
Well, we don't have to. Fortunately, we don't have to see Ed's poll.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he has one on the channel. We're supposed to,
but we don't have to see it. He's not in control.
Gene's all about Delphine, followed by Duke.
For me, the second would definitely be Sunsoft, and specifically Journey of Silius.
Yeah, Sunsoft for me is another huge one, because I haven't actually played through most of those Sunsoft games that are on that collection. I'm looking forward to Journey of Silius. I'm also actually looking forward to seeing if I can complete Blaster Master. So, but I will admit, I will play Blaster Master before I play on the collection, because
what's funny is I remember playing all the way through Journey to Silius on the original cartridge way back when. So I'm kind of surprised to hear people talking about how difficult the game is these days. It's like, it can't be that difficult. I beat it when I was a kid. I don't normally beat games.
No, we'll see. I mean, I'll find out for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to get through some of the Blaster Master on the NES cart. I'll probably do a Fun for 5 and like a week or two for that kind of stuff. But yeah, Scalatrix has never played the Duke PS1 games. That's pretty cool.
I don't think most people have, because I don't know where you would have played them other than a DOS emulator these days.
Oh yeah.
They're available anywhere else.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Duke was kind of like in that weird time frame when the 32-bit ones came out. Like, people just didn't really look at them.
It's around the same time they did Commander Keen, and even Commander Keen I know is on Good Old Games, but I tried playing it and I couldn't figure out how to play it because there was no joystick support at the time I played it.
Oh, got it.
I didn't know what the keyboard controls were. I kind of gave up on it pretty quick, but
those Keen games, if we could get like and they're Apogee, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
If we can get an Apogee collection with some of the Keen games on there.
Oh, that would be another one.
Goodness.
If we got actual DOS games, we're not actually getting any DOS games yet, like I thought we were, because they were talking about Duke 3D. But if we're talking DOS games, another one I would love to see would be, I think it's called F-14, like Call of the Raptor. I can't remember. Call of the Raptor, Call of the Shadows. That's what it was called. Raptor, Call of the Shadows. I played that one a lot on DOS back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would be really cool, for sure.
But again, still waiting for DOS games because they got faked out.
yeah, that was a little bit of a tease there in that trailer. Like, because
when I saw Duke 3D, it didn't even occur to me that was on other platforms other than DOS.
Commander Keen was made by id Software, sold through Apogee.
Okay.
Does that mean we got to go to Microsoft to go get them?
I don't know. Well, they're on Good Old Games, so
yeah,
they're available.
Well, I mean, hopefully that'd be awesome. Because then, also because of Duke 1 and 2's nature, would Commander Keen have to be reworked and then ported natively to the Evercade?
Well, unless they actually got DOS emulation running with the keyboard keys mapped out to button controls, which they can do. They did it with this Commodore 64 stuff. So, but if they could get the DOS emulation running, they wouldn't need to make a remastered version to run natively.
So here's another question: what if indie also meant homebrew?
Yep, I'd be a big fan of that, man.
That's what I thought it meant.
So, I mean, sometimes it does. In some circles it does. But this is the other question: like, what if it actually is? What if there's a homebrew collection coming, and then they call that indie? And if they do that, is there a different color of the box? Because at this point, what is it?
Some of those games that are in Indie Heroes Collection 2 were made by one person that used like an NES game creator tool.
Correct.
Specifically, Nyx, the Paradox Relic, and the other one, Recnum, Soul's Adventure. Yep. Those two, I think, were both made with the same kit by one person and then were published by a different... So those technically, I think, are homebrew.
Well, and
Doodle Collection.
Doodle World was made on NES Maker.
Okay, I didn't realize that too.
Yep. And there's another game or two on Indie Heroes 1 or 2 that are also made on NES Maker. Kubo.
Yes, Kubo. Yeah, for sure. So I don't see any difference between indie and homebrew, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I think specifically there are. I mean, in the retro space, I know there's a delineation between like indie, because it's like indie is like new games with new ideas made for just general consumption out in the ether, like Steam, Switch. They that's where they try to go with that. And then homebrew is like specifically made for the target hardware, because they want to make another. They actually want to make physical products to run on the hardware. I think that's the dividing line.
So where do you draw the line between indie and regular game developer?
Well, I mean, then I guess you would have to call indie like super small studios that are independently funded. Like they're funded by themselves. Like for example, like I wanted to make a game. I wanted to make a game, and it would be like a bacon ice cream production game, right? Like I'm an indie developer because I'm not Microsoft or Sony or Capcom or whatever, right?
But then if you think about it, like where do they stop becoming an indie developer? Because if you think about it,
right,
way back in the 70s, maybe even
I mean that's what it was.
Atari would now be called an indie game developer, but there would have been nothing else.
Well, that's true.
And then when would they have stopped becoming an indie game developer?
Well, maybe. Well, I would say if we went down that road, I'm okay with that road until Ray Kassar comes into Atari and Warner buys them and installs Ray Kassar as the head guy, right? That's when it stops being indie, because now they're owned by like a megacore, right?
I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess it depends on whether or not the company is owned by another company or not. Maybe that's what the differentiation is.
Yeah. Well, then Encourage Games are saying indies are self-published. In center here is a small independent studio with no parent company. So like okay.
But I guess to me though, whether or not you call a game indie, homebrew, AAA, whatever, it doesn't make any sort of difference. All that matters is what the game is.
Yeah.
And if you have fun playing it.
All homebrew is indie, but not all indie is homebrew.
Because Konami's putting out games now that look like indie games.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, but I think Konami's in that weird spot where they're just trying to do whatever, right? Like they're just trying to do something. They've been in a weird place for a long time.
Well, a lot of people didn't even realize that Konami doesn't just make video games.
Right.
They made like casino equipment, casino games.
Yeah,
so that for them is way more profitable than video games. So they made a decision just to focus on that.
Yeah. Well, they also have like aren't they like an insurance provider in Japan or something like that? They do like
possibly. I think they do. I think they did 4 things, and
it's
video
really
games
weird.
is just one of those 4 things.
Yeah.
And just now they're dabbling with getting their stuff back into video games. I don't know if there's a change in management or if they just had a change. Like hey, maybe we hear all of this demand for this stuff. Let's because they put out those collections. They put out Contra collection, they put out Castlevania collections, and they're like just maybe put those out just to see what their response to those would be. And now they're putting out these games like Skull Attack, and there's another one I can't think of the name of it, but who knows? Maybe they're just ramping back up to get fully back in there, and we'll see like another Contra or something. I don't know.
Getting out of the pachinko business?
Yeah.
No. They're gonna stay in the pachinko business.
Oh yeah, it's making the money.
Because I think they're making way more money doing that than they are selling video games.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Yeah, that's like a phenomenon in Japan, apparently.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, people keep talking about that kind of stuff, but I guess like that kind of like casino thing is real popular.
But you know why pachinko is so popular? It's because gambling is
illegal
in Japan.
Yeah.
But
it's the only way to get gambling, right?
They win basically those balls, and then they exchange the balls in for prizes, then they exchange the prizes in for money.
Yeah.
And that's how they get around
gambling by a different name.
I want to know what percent of people in Japan does the full rotation of balls for prize for money. Like, who just gives
everybody,
up? And how cumbersome is that to do it?
Yeah, right.
Well, the places that they do it are like literally right next door to each other.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I've never done it. I've seen them when I was in Tokyo, but I'm just thinking, it's like, do they make it a hurdle to go through each phase, just like get IDs and stuff like that? I'm just wondering.
Make it the places that do it make it super easy to do it.
Okay,
you
cool.
literally, because and in fact, they don't expect you to keep the prizes you earn. They expect you to give them back, because then you're just gonna give it to somebody else, who's in turn gonna sell it back for money.
Got it. Huh.
And that's why pachinko parlors are so popular. It's because it's the only way they can gamble without it kind of being illegal due to loopholes. The loopholes to it.
If I ever make it over there, I got to go to that. I got to go to one of those, and I got to go to Super Potato. That's the other thing.
There's two super potatoes.
Are there?
Yeah, but I find it like, it's so overwhelming when I was there, when I was in Akihabara, that like, and it's so packed with people. It's not a very comfortable place to browse and shop and stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's
a Phantom Fictions comment. I think that's funny.
What is it?
Is it just me or Danny Wells used to think indie games were games made in New Delhi?
I mean,
What?
maybe.
Because, indie games.
Well, knowing North America, they probably thought they were made in Florida. Let's be honest here. Oh yeah, I discovered India. Oh wait, no, that's the United States of America, Columbus. Hello. Like, let's be honest here.
Silly
It's not
times.
surprising.
Hey, you know what? It's never been done before. You could understand his confusion and mistake.
Oh no, 100%. I just find it funny because that makes total sense for our education system.
Yeah, well, so let's dive in. Mike's got a cool thing. Hi, by the way, to Mike. Did you guys see that Microsoft and Act Games just finalized on Thursday? I didn't even know that there was a deal between them.
You mean the FTC is not blocking it?
What's funny is I heard about that, but I could have swore I heard about it from your channel, Rich. So I guess.
Oh, really? No, yeah.
Where I get all my news.
It wasn't
Rich
me.
and Ballistic
It wasn't even. I didn't even watch the video. I just thought you had a video titled something like that. It must have been somebody else.
Yeah.
Probably Ballistic Coffee Boy. That's where I go to my news. I used to be a guy who delivered news. Now I'm a guy that needs to go to other people's channels to read it.
Right? Yeah. Oh,
I love
man,
it.
Ballistic's all about, if it has anything to do with Atari, man, he is on top of it. Sometimes it's a race.
Great
It's
channel.
like I'll hear about a story, and then I'll wait, and it's like a half hour goes by. I'm like, do you think I can get a video in before Ballistic? No. It's never
I'm
happens.
just really out of the loop when it comes to news because I don't pay attention. I happened to see a commercial the other day, literally yesterday, for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And my first thought was, they made another Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah.
They've been advertising the thing for like a year.
I'm trying to get my
TV.
son to go watch it with me, and he goes, "Dad, I heard that sucks." And I'm like,
my
"All right, then,
parents
we're
went
not
to see it.
going."
My parents went to see it on Thursday. They got advanced tickets or whatever for volunteering somewhere. They said it was pretty good, so I'm like, all right, I'll give it a whirl.
I don't know if I'd use my parents as an indication whether a modern movie is good or not.
Well, that's true, but
my dad only ever liked westerns.
I'm okay with just turning my brain off and just seeing a popcorn film.
Yeah, me too. I just don't want to see geriatric Indiana Jones. Like, I think The Last Crusade was the best way to. He went off into the sunset.
I should have never went back after that. Last Crusade.
He went off into the sunset. What better ending do you want for a movie franchise?
It was, in my opinion, I think my favorite third movie of a trilogy.
100%. 100%.
You know what?
Like,
Even
such a good bookend to that series.
The movie is so successful, they're gonna figure a way to do it again. Even if Harrison Ford wasn't available, they would have recast him, or they would have been like, okay, this is a young Indiana Jones played by a different actor, like they did with Solo.
I'm all for that. I think that's the best approach. Like, the Young Indiana Jones TV show was amazing. If you've never watched that show, it is such a good show.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, because it's more like a history lesson too, right? Because he goes and hangs out with a lot of famous people from history. But anyway, I'm gonna go watch it because it's Indiana Jones. It's like Star Wars, right? I have to see it because it's
you gotta see it, right?
Well, I'll see it eventually.
Franchises I grew up with,
I was kind of surprised to hear my wife wanted to see it, so I'll see it eventually.
But I'm gonna watch it on the cruise because I'm going on a Disney cruise, so it's gonna be on the cruise ship.
Oh, nice!
There you go.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's actually neat.
They show movies that Disney run movies that are in theater. They'll show them on the boat.
That's cool.
Yeah, as first run. So I'm excited. So
yeah, I'm
gonna go on a cruise, spend my time watching movies. This is gonna be awesome.
there was a game I was looking forward to coming out, and then I was like, I wonder when that game comes out. And I looked it up. It came out 3 months ago. I better go buy it.
What?
Hmm.
It was
So-
a game I was looking forward to buying, and then and then when I was like, hey, I haven't heard anything about that game for a while. I looked it up. It came out like 3 months prior to.
I don't know, man. I'm like, I've decided. I don't think I've decided it, but I think over the last 5 years, I kind of get in this routine where I finish maybe 3 games a year, and everything else is retro or indie games. And I think I hit my limit so far this year because it's Final Fantasy and Diablo, so I don't have room to play any more big games.
Yeah.
Aren't you playing Street Fighter 6?
Yeah, that's my other one. I haven't finished it yet, though.
You're talking about World Tour. I'm
Oh,
still.
they
I've
broke-
only played World Tour.
Yeah, they broke that game. Just let you know on Steam Deck, it barely runs good now. It's verified.
Oh.
So yeah, I've got a whole rant coming on that on my channel soon about what that green. I think Valve only checks the first time it goes through to give it a green because Street Fighter 6 now, the latest update, it took me 12 minutes to load into the game.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And, if other people are having
I should
the same
really do
problem
a
too,
Steam
then
Deck,
yeah.
Steam Deck podcast. If I only had friends who owned a Steam Deck.
Yeah, well, you gotta wait for me.
I own a large Steam Deck. I'm using it right now.
Nice. Yeah, no. I mean, well, as far as getting the I mean, the Steam Deck intrigues me. It really does, but it's
It's on
like,
sale now this week.
yeah,
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw that too, and I'm like, well,
I think you should just wait for Steam Deck 2 now, Rich, because it's gonna come out probably end of next year.
yeah, you're probably right. And then, well, I mean, and right now, if it wasn't for the
Well,
fact
me and Gabe are best buddies, so.
you and Gabe are best buddies.
Oh
If
yeah,
it
man,
wasn't
we
for the
talk all
fact
the
that I
time.
fell into a cardboard hole, then I might have had the extra scratch to maybe pull the trigger on a Steam Deck, but Wizards got me.
I'd recommend waiting, Rich, until the new one comes out, man. Like, to be honest with you, like, it's super. Like, you can get the 64 one, like Ed got,
Yeah,
but if they're gonna, like, it depends, like, how much you're gonna play it, right? That's what I say. Like, if I don't
Right.
think you're gonna play it enough to justify it. To be honest with you, knowing who you are and what games
Yeah.
you play.
Yep.
Doesn't it have better hardware too?
What
The new one?
The new one?
The more expensive one.
It does.
No, it just has a different size hard drive and anti-glare screen. That's the only difference.
Yeah, but
Okay, so-
aren't the hard drives in the middle and the top end one? Aren't they?
It's a better hard drive. It's bigger,
better hard
but I
drives?
mean, it's marginal,
speed?
right? Unless, like I always say, unless you're like hypersensitive to load times, like the hard drive is fine. I use most of my games come off my SD card.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
I'm actually, just let you know too. This is how good I am at MMOs. I'm actively rating while on this podcast,
Nice.
and I'm like got the best DPS in the game.
Oh, hold on a second.
So that's how good of a gamer I am. So screw
Would you
y'all who says I
recommend-
can't game.
What would you recommend? The Steam Deck or the Playdate?
Steam Deck, 100%. Even though, man, I just played an amazing racing game. I've been playing it.
It doesn't have a crank.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't
Doesn't
like
have
the
a
How do you
crank?
justify that?
Hey, let's not get on Steam. Like, this is going to be the anything but Evercade podcast.
Yeah, right. Well, it was, that's why I left the question open. I'm like, oh, hey, like, what do you think about?
Maybe people thought I was gonna say, what do you recommend, a Steam Deck or the Evercade?
Oh, me?
Maybe I
I
should've
can
said
give you 100% my answer. And people might hate me for it, but I'll tell you, I recommend a Steam Deck because you can play everything on it.
The Steam Deck over in Evercade?
Yeah, because you can play everything. Now, if you're a retro gamer only, Evercade, 100%.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you're a retro collector, Evercade 100%. If you're a gamer who likes to play all games, I think Steam Deck's a pretty solid choice. The low end one I would recommend. Like, no need to go get the big heavy one.
I want the big. For me,
But
it'd
it's
be
hard to say, right? That's why I don't really like doing reviews or anything on my channels because, like, who am I to give advice? I'm just a big old dumb guy who loves video games, and
For
you
me,
know, got
it'd be
disposable
hard not to
income.
buy the best version of it because it's like, well, if I could spend a little bit more money, I'd get this version, and I'm like, well, if I spend a little bit more money, I get this version. It's like I
Yeah.
did the same thing with capture cards just recently. I was looking to buy a cheap capture card, and then I wound up buying a $180 capture card.
My raid groups ask me, who am I talking to? I'm like, none of your business, people. Get back to owning these dudes.
Well, are you in voice chat and they hear
Yeah.
you talk? Yeah, so they're hearing. Are they
Voice
hearing
chat
us
and a
talk
read.
too?
They won't kick me because I'm one of the best. I'm probably the best in this group.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's awesome. You're awesome, Pete.
I am
So
pretty awesome.
they're getting. Not only are they getting to play the game, they're hearing a portion of this Evercast
Yeah,
as well.
you're getting a third of the Evercast.
Like, screw that. They're all good. I've been gaming with them for 20 years, a lot of them. So, and this one is like we're not running it on hard mode or anything. We're just like getting our. I haven't been gaming in this for a while, so I just kind of keep my place in the guild. I want to make sure I can come in, pwn for a bit, and then make an appearance.
There's only one game I ever played where I was in a guild, and that was Ragnarok Online.
I know you told me about that game. That game still runs.
I know it still runs.
Okay, what are we
crazy.
talking about now, Rich?
Anything you want.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys want to talk about my latest Evercade video?
Well,
Yes, let's talk about
what do we think about this? What do we think about though? Like rare games coming to the Evercade.
Okay, let's talk about that first. Yeah.
that. What rare games would you want to see?
Yeah. Okay, that's what I want to know. Which ones, right? Like, I'd take the Banjo games, but can they run on the Evercade, right? Because N64.
That's true, right?
Right.
Well, there's only one answer for me, and that's Battletoads. That's my favorite NES game.
Yeah, it's so hard though. Well, actually, Battletoad Collection would be great because they're like on every platform, and they're a bit different and different difficulty on Game Boy versus NES.
But I wonder if we'd see like the Genesis version of Battletoads and the NES version of Battletoads together on the same collection. Even the Japanese version of Battletoads on the NES is easier than the US version of Battletoads.
I think I'm gonna die.
Like every version of Battletoads is easier than the NES version.
Right.
There's a Game Boy version too. Would we see that? There's another Game Boy version. It's a completely different game. There's a Super Nintendo game. There's Battletoads and Double Dragon. Why not see that as well?
I have that game. That game's not bad. It's actually the best Double Dragon game because it uses the Battletoads combat engine.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, because you got tons of different moves as the Double Dragon characters that you normally don't get in the franchise.
And then could we potentially even see the Battletoads arcade game, which is kind of weird because it's a rare-owned property that was published by Electronic Arts in the arcade.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the list of games that are on Rare Replay. I mean, you can make a couple collections out of this for sure.
There's I know there's Snake, Rattle, and Roll. There's a whole bunch of Spectrum games. I won't use the initials.
Yeah. Jetpack, Lunar Jetman, Attack, Saberwolf, Underworld, Night Lore, and Gunfight. I think those are all, and Slalom. Those are all. I think they're all.
Yeah, I kind of remember playing a lot of those games just because I had that collection.
Yeah,
I still do have that collection, I think.
Yeah, and then when you get to the NES era, it's RC Pro-Am, Cobra Triangle.
Oh yeah,
Snake Rattle,
RC Pro-Am. That, and I'd like to see the game Super RC Pro-Am on the Game Boy.
That's the better one actually.
Yeah.
Even though the NES one gets all the love, which it should because it's a great game.
Yeah. I don't see Super RC Pro-Am on the list, but I mean, I think it's just because they didn't put the Game Boy game.
They didn't put they didn't put every rare game on there.
Yeah.
So.
But I do like the Battletoad collection because they are games that would benefit from a save state system. And the fact that they're kind of different games between all the platforms.
That's
I don't
true.
know if GameSack did a video on that or not, like same name, different games. Because I don't know if he ever did Battletoads.
No.
I remember playing Battletoads. I remember playing for like 3 months before I got past the 3rd level.
Dude, it's so hard. I think
another 6 months before I got past level 6, which I believe is the snake level. That took
such a hard game.
I played that speeder bike level so many times. I can still get past it today.
I don't think I could.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be all about those kind of things. And then, of course, I mean, there's Blast Core and Jet Force Gemini and Banjo and all like the 64 stuff. Again, it's like, does it run ? Right? But I would still take a collection of that. Like the 87 86, 87 through 90 something. You can also get Killer Instinct in there. That would be like, in my
arcade
opinion,
version, the
it'd be
Super
the
Nintendo
if they
version.
could get like something like Killer Instinct, and
That's
yes,
got two
we have
versions, right?
Street Fighter, but it's locked to the EXP. But if that was a cart that you could play on both systems, it'd be a first proper fighter you could play on VS.
What
And
about
that would be
like
cool.
rare arcade games? I'm not so familiar with that.
Rare Arcade.
I think
Yeah,
it's
what
just
games did you have?
Battletoads.
Any specific arcade games that weren't on console, or were they primarily just console?
I think everything was on console and
microcomputer back
Yeah.
before
But Killer
the
Instinct
NES.
was an arcade game.
it was.
Yeah, but
Killer
Nintendo
Instinct was in
made.
the
Wait, who
arcade.
made it?
Oh,
I know
yeah,
it was
that's
published by Nintendo, but they might have done that. Now that I think about it, there was Killer Instinct 2 in arcade, but then there was Battletoads, which was published by Electronic Arts. I'm not 100% sure if Rare even made that, or if they just lend it out to Electronic Arts, which is weird. It's so weird that Electronic Arts put out an arcade game in my my mind.
Yeah, I'm trying to look here on the wiki. You can't necessarily see where their stuff is in arcade.
Well, you could just search. Let's see here.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it. But yeah, I mean that would be kind of cool too. But I mean anything, like that related. If that could open the door, then then there's a relationship between Blaze and Microsoft, right? So if the FTC or whoever does anything that involves this deal with Activision, then Activision finally comes over the other side. If they already have the foot in the door, and we get Rare, because eventually we'll get Activision, like the 2600 stuff and all that. Why not?
I just realized I was going to put a query into Google that wouldn't at all have resulted in what I wanted to see.
Yeah, right.
I was going to type in rare arcade games. Wait
Yes.
a minute. It's not
List of video games developed by Rare. System. What do we got? Come on, arcade.
Okay, so the Battletoads arcade game was developed by Rare and published by Electronic Arts. Okay.
Well, apparently they did X the Ball, which was an arcade game that was published by Capcom. And then Killer Instinct 2. What else is there? And that's about it.
Yeah, Killer Instinct was developed by Rare too.
Mm-hmm.
Published by Midway. Yeah, published by Midway in the arcades.
Yep. So yeah, but not a whole lot of arcades. So I don't think we get an arcade cart, but
I wouldn't mind seeing an arcade cart if it had like Killer Instinct 2, and Battletoads.
Yeah. Since they developed Pirates. What year was that developed in? Because I don't see that on the list.
What Pirates?
Yeah, let me just say here. Hold on.
There we go. Developers Rare. Are you talking about Sea of Thieves?
Oh, in 1991, there was a game. It was called Pirates. Sid Meier's Pirates.
They didn't do that one, did they? They must have just published it.
Well, published by Microprose in '87, but it's on the list in the wiki saying that they were developed by Rare.
Right.
Developers Microprose, so maybe not. On the page for the game, it says developed by Microprose, published by Microprose, and Ultra Games on the NES.
Maybe in a different region. Maybe in the UK it was published by Rare.
Maybe. Yeah. More puns. Killer collection if it happened.
Killer Arcade 1.
Yeah. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, Sid Meier's Pirates was pretty neat. I had a friend that loved that game. So that's good. Yeah, maybe they did cartridge conversions. That's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it says Ultra Games did it on the NES, but that would be Konami, wouldn't right? Isn't Konami Ultra?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So, but yeah, nothing in here that says Rare.
Maybe we'll get the Nightmare on Elm Street game on the NES.
The Nightmare on Elm Street game. Did they make that?
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
No way. I mean, we never happened because of the thing, but
The licensing, yeah.
yeah.
Still.
They did Narc?
What's funny is they did the two pinball games on the NES based on real pinball machines, Pinbot and High Speed.
Yeah, I see Pinbot on the list right here. Oh, they did Super Off-Road as well?
Really?
Don't see that.
Well, it's in
No,
the
they
list
didn't.
here for
Are you looking at games they published or games they developed?
developed. It says
Huh.
list of video games developed by Rare. And I mean, it's a pretty expansive list. But
Can't be right, because I'm looking at the links at the bottom of the page, and it's got maybe unless not all the games are listed there.
yeah, I mean, well, there's other things that we would never get too. Like they developed Donkey Kong Country, so I mean that's not happening because Nintendo's never going to let that go.
You know, I would say it never would happen, but when Sega stuff started going on Nintendo, I said I'm never going to say never again.
Well, that's
Yeah,
true.
Good point.
That's very true. But Nintendo's got issues of their own releasing their old stuff on their own consoles. So
Yeah.
So I say who made Cruisin' USA? I'm pretty sure Midway made Cruisin' USA.
I think so. Yeah, that was a good
I
one.
love the Cruisin' franchise.
The last one on the Switch, that was really good. I really liked that one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
based on the arcade, right?
Yeah, it was made by Raw Thrills, who usually makes arcade games.
Yeah, it was a pretty good port, actually.
Yeah.
Nintendo's just fanatical about everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, I guess like in some small way, I'd be like, well, if you don't protect it, then people will just do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, I give them a pass on a lot of stuff because that's their only revenue stream is video games, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
that's-
Sony
yeah.
has revenue streams everywhere, Microsoft. So I give Nintendo a bit of a pass sometimes for that
Yeah.
because without video games, they they're on hard times. Something like when the Wii U come out, right? Nintendo stuff was garbage.
Yeah, like I was
Yeah.
starting to think, like, what if like the Wii didn't do all that great at all? Would they even be still around?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
that,
if that wasn't a- if that
man,
wasn't a hit,
Nintendo probably doesn't exist the way it does right now. That's a good
Correct.
point.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the reason
Well, I mean,
why
they still had the handheld though too, so they
did.
You get a lot from the handheld.
But they had a lot of failures, right? N64, GameCube were not successful
the
consoles
GameCube,
for
yeah.
them.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess not to turn this into the Nintendo podcast, but you figure, I think that's why that there's a lot of feet dragging right now with the Switch because it's still so
They're
successful.
scared to put out
Still
a
selling
failure.
a while. Yeah, I mean,
Well, I think they're gonna put out something new next year. I
Yeah,
they
I
are,
think
'cause
Switch 2 is
it's-
coming. It has to be, right? Like,
right.
makes
Because-
sense.
Well, because
I'm
if it's not a
surprised-
Switch, then what is it?
To give you an example of this, Pinball FX came out on every platform except the Switch. And just earlier this week on Thursday, Zen Studios put they do a video like every month or so with details on stuff that's coming out. And this last Thursday was just on the Switch version. So in order to get this running on the Switch, they had to redesign the graphics in the game. They had to change the physics engine, so it's going to play completely differently than any other version, just so it can play on the Switch.
Wow. Yeah, and well, I mean, if Dev has to do that much kind of bending over backwards, then yeah, they're gonna have to put pressure on Nintendo to say, hey, you got to give us a piece of hardware that can run in parity with the other things. We're gonna stop porting games to your system, right? I think that's the next move for third parties, anyway.
Well, I think it doesn't matter. Like, since the Switch is the most popular platform this generation,
Right.
they're gonna do whatever they can to get some version of that game on that platform.
Right.
People are gonna buy it.
Right. Yeah, of course. So, well, that's a good question from Jason. Could the EXP run DS games? You think?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say no.
Well,
I
DS
don't-
is better quality than Nintendo 64, right?
It's
Maybe it's
well,
easier
it's a
to
different it's a
emulate?
different architecture too. So
Yeah.
Right.
Nintendo 64 might be more difficult just because of how the system's built. It's the same reason why Saturn games were really difficult to emulate for a long time. It's the reason why, like, PlayStation 3 games are very difficult to
Right.
emulate. But I think that DS isn't so difficult to emulate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, well, and Gene has a point obviously about the lack of the second screen, but you know, that was only for certain games, because a lot of games you could
Yeah.
probably eliminate the second screen almost whole
But you'd
cloth.
have to. You probably. You know, that's the thing is, I think the only way it would work is if you played them. If you're going to play them on a handheld, just you'd have to play in Tate mode, and you'd have to pick games that didn't rely on the touch screen either, or the
Right.
microphone,
Yeah, that's true.
which a whole lot of games didn't use the microphones.
Yeah.
But yeah, you still got the touch screen. That's the thing that kind of annoyed me about the Vita, is it had a touch screen. So many of the games, like, you couldn't even start the game unless you touched the screen.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you do that?
Yep.
I can't
And they had the
start it.
back thing.
It was just
had
at
the-
that weird
the back
era,
touch.
right?
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was just that weird era where mobile had just started dominating. So
Right.
like,
Yeah.
And then, like, you couldn't play Wipeout on the Vita TV because you needed to press the touch screen to start
Yeah.
the game. So they blacklisted the game because it didn't have a touch screen, even though there was a way to get around the touch screen with the analog sticks. It's like,
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, what a cool thing that was, though. I miss the Vita. And what a
Yeah,
miss. I mean, again,
it's like-
not to turn this into other things, but like, what a miss. What a giant miss that Project
It's like
Q thing is. Come on, man.
After about a year, they were like, yeah, we were hoping that this would outsell Nintendo. Let's forget about it.
And I was like, no, they should have just leaned in on it. And we're like, oh, well, you know, this could be like the ultimate indie machine. You know, and
It
then
kind of is, and it works can work very much like the Switch, because you could tether it to a PlayStation 4 and play those games, you know, on the TV with the Vita.
Right.
But then they had a Vita TV, and I bought that thing when it was on sale. Like, there was a brief moment where it was discounted heavily.
Oh, yeah,
Before
yeah.
it shot right back up in price. And that's when I bought one. And then I was really disappointed because I think like one Vita game I had actually worked in the thing. It's like, why did you even include the cartridge slot if nothing was going to work on it?
Yeah, no, I still have mine. I was back when I guess it was the VD TV, and then they changed the name to the PlayStation TV, right?
I don't remember if they changed
on the box. They changed the name or whatever, but I had the one of the original models during the same sale, because they put it on sale for like $40 or something like that. And I was like, all right, like, give me that thing. I still have it actually around somewhere.
I just think that's hilarious that you had to run hacks on the thing just to play the games on the cartridges that you already owned.
Right. Yeah. It was silly times. That was definitely silly times. But
it's still silly because I still think they push out updates to that thing just to stop people from doing that.
yeah. Oh yeah, you're right, actually. But I mean, it doesn't matter because it's so like that firmware is so owned right now by the people that are making the patches.
It may have stopped, but I just know that when I was trying to do that and I was running the mods on it, it's like I would have, there's an update now. Oh, there's an update now. And they're like, well, what are you updating? And it was like, they wouldn't tell you because it was just to lock out the ability to do that.
Right. Yeah, I loved Sony's like vague security updates. They're just like, here's an update, and then like the patch notes is just security.
Yeah, security.
And
we don't want you to play the games you own on it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's silly. Yeah, I remember that story. They did the blacklist by accident, and then like you could like, just like get everything, and then like, oh no. So.
It won't work. It won't work on there. So we're blacklisting. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
No, it works just fine. You just.
Actually, I mean, I guess that's another question, right? So if PS1, do you think the Evercade would ever be able to run like PSP games?
PSP games.
It might be possible,
I would
right?
say it would be possible. It because in part, No, I was gonna say because the PSP games run at a lower resolution.
Yeah.
I think it would depend on the PSP game, maybe.
Right. Yeah, it would depend on the game for sure, but that would be kind of fun. See if we could expand it to at least that, because there's tons of other games that are on that library that are just buried.
You know what PSP game I'd like to see on the Evercade?
Huh.
Work Time Fun.
Oh yeah, that was a good game.
That's
really
a crazy game.
You know?
I think that would work pretty good with save states and stuff if you could do save states with that.
Yeah. So that would be really cool, because I mean, again, there's tons and tons of games, and I mean, and especially like even like like everybody's RPG fan. There's tons of RPGs on PSP that would work great, on the Evercade environment. That'd be really, really cool. It would be a case.
I mean, there's so many games. There's so many games they could put out based on the platforms we've already seen. So,
oh yeah,
they've got if they're working on figuring out how to emulate certain platforms, there's quite a bit of time. And even if they don't ever introduce any new platforms other than what they already have, there's tons of stuff they could be going for years and years.
Oh, absolutely.
That alone.
Yeah, but Blaze has already hinted at that there's at least, I think, two consoles that they haven't introduced games for yet that they think they're actually going to announce. I mean, we all speculate they're probably microcomputers, but you never know, right?
Spectrum is probably guaranteed to be one,
right?
Because that was so big in the UK.
Yeah,
I'd like to see DOS personally.
Yeah, I would love to see DOS.
We already got Amiga and Commodore 64. I don't know what I mean. There's so many. There's like the Atari 8-bit computers. I wouldn't mind seeing those. That I would really like to see, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just there's a lot of stuff they could do. They got then. I don't know if they consider doing some of the computers that were only in the UK, like like the Amstrad or whatever, the Amstrad CPC. There was another one called the Dragon something or other. I don't know how obscure they want to get.
Right. So yeah, and people are popping in like, ColecoVision. Yeah. I mean, well, they already have the Sydney Hunter collection is coming out, right? And they've got CollectorVision putting out games.
That's
very, very easy for them to.
They've said in the past they don't know who owns the licensing behind a lot of those ColecoVision games that weren't owned by like major corporations.
Right.
There's a lot of gray area because they looked into that. Remember 2 years ago they talked in our podcast. They looked into finding who owned those licenses, and it's just a minefield. And one person said he owned the licenses. When they looked into it, it was all lies. So
yeah. That stuff gets messy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and plus Coleco had a lot of actual licensed IPs from other companies, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I almost think that after a certain amount of time, 20, 30 years,
public domain
should just public domain.
Right. Yeah, and then just start putting the games out on everywhere. Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of people talking about Neo Geo Pocket Collection. I always advocate for Neo Geo Pocket, always, because it's good times. I like it a lot. And my little stack of games over here, but yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not a big library.
They should maximize the handheld platforms and get those libraries. So Neo Geo, Game Gear, like they should go after actual other historically relevant handhelds because they have the EXP, right?
Why not?
Well, here's the thing: is like, would you consider Neo Geo to be a like a console or an arcade? Because if it's an arcade, that wouldn't be a Neo Geo Pocket. I'm talking about Neo Geo arcade games because I'd still like to see that, and I think they should be the arcade considered arcade collections. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't know what the future may bring, so like, it's it's anyone's guess, but we'll just have to wait and see, right? But
I'm trying to think of that quote from Griswold or whatever his name is. Let's see here. I'm gonna look it up. It might take me a while.
Julian D says, any guesses for new game of the month? Because that is likely going to be out by the time we speak next.
I'll be right back.
Yep. So my guess is it's another kind of like off the wall kind of game, and it's not going to be as heavy hitter as the others. Certainly not as Donut Dodo.
That's what it was.
For sure.
We're all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives.
Nice.
You know what movie that's from?
No.
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh, got it. That's awesome. That's very cool.
And it's Criswell. That's
Criswell. That's very cool. So yeah, I think 100% it's going to be one of those, hey, like here's your next game of the month release, and it's going to be kind of okay, but it's not going to be anything that's going to be super huge because the indie showcase is coming at the end of the month. So, and I think in the indie showcase they could reveal August's game, and August game is going to be huge. That's what I'm going to say.
That's what it is, right? It's just going to be indie games, they said, for July.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then I'm not going to have it, and it's going to be the kind of thing where it's like I'll be surprised if it's a game I've heard of.
Right.
And if it's a game I've heard of, then it's got to be a big game.
Yeah, but I don't think in July. I don't think they start off the month with that kind of thing, because I think August's game is that game. August game is going to be something that we're going to recognize, and it's going to be something that's pretty big because they can show it off during the showcase.
But in that case, if everybody knows about it, why would it need to be game of the month? Because we don't need to play it.
It's just I think the reason why you do that is it's like, hey, don't forget about Indie Heroes 3. You can pre-order it like soon. Please.
Because I think as soon as if it's such a big game that everybody will want it, then they won't need to put out like a demo for it because people know people want it.
I can see that as well, but you know what? Maybe it'll be a sequel. Because there's a couple Indie Heroes games already that have sequels. So like maybe they'll do a sequel.
Indie Heroes Collection 1 or Indie Heroes Collection 2?
Well, I would say like you would for a guess on what it could be. Let's see if there's a sequel that I know of. Yeah, Alien Cat has a sequel for sure.
Alien Cat has like 6 or 7 games, and they're all different genres.
Yeah, so like that would be kind of cool for July. Just be like, hey, here's another Alien Cat, and it's like a different.
I can't see being Alien Cat, to be honest. I don't think that make a big splash at all.
I don't think they actually did. I know they're working on a sequel to Doodle World, but I don't think it actually released.
Yes, I heard about that one. I wonder if there's a sequel to Flea.
That would be
or
cool.
Twin Dragons.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or it could be another Anguna game, because there's other ones out there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one on here, one on there, and one on the 3.
Look at the Atari 2600 version of Anguna. That'll be on Heroes 3.
You know what? I would play it.
I own it. I have a physical copy of it.
That's so cool. Yeah, I would play it. Why not? That's awesome.
Well, I had to do research, and it turns out, I don't know if you watched my video on Indie Heroes 2 that I put out. I can't remember, like last week. But the Anguna game that's on Collection 2, Scourge of the Goblin King, is actually a remake of the Atari 2600 game. That came out before this one. That one.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
If you go to the website and look, it kind of is like, oh, this is a remake of this game. Oh, really? It's like stated right there on their website.
That's kind of cool. That's neat. But yeah, I would totally get more Anguna action and more any of that stuff. That would be neat. But yeah, I would stand firm. The guess for July is it's kind of like, oh hey, here's another game. I don't want to call that game like filler, but probably something we don't know about. And then you can play it while you're waiting for the showcase. And then the showcase is we're getting something huge that is different. Maybe something maybe something directly homebrew related, like as a whole collection or something like that. That would be kind of neat. It's like, oh, you know what? Oh, wait. What if it was like the Atari Age collection?
Yeah,
The
that'd be
Atari
cool.
Age
But how do
collection-
they top what they just did with Duke Nukem? That's my thing. Can they top it? Should they top it?
I don't think. Well, I don't think the indie showcase. I would think directly it wouldn't imply that they're going to try to top themselves, because I mean that's, you revealed the November game, and that's your big release, right? Like with a new piece of like hardware, even though it's just collector's edition. Like that's the big drop. This one is just like, hey, this is still pretty cool, but this is for more of the enthusiasts for the Evercade as a brand. So like I don't think they're gonna try to top themselves
Right.
with this particular showcase, but it will be something that's really cool for people that are like they're really into it.
Mm-hmm.
Gene's saying, will the December carts be a big drop? I don't know, because I think November is where you hit it, right? That because you need to get
Yes.
your stuff for the holidays.
Yeah, that's when people start. I'd say like right after Thanksgiving is when people immediately start buying for Christmas, unless you're my wife, who has already bought Christmas gifts for everybody through 2024 somehow.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I would say that Duke is the big holiday release, unless they got something else up their sleeve that we just don't know about. I mean, Duke would be it, right? Because they went all in.
I mean,
How many times? But because if it's not it, and there's something going to be a huge, like above and beyond that, then why release a custom piece of hardware for Duke and not the thing that's coming out in December?
well, the thing is, it's funny is that if you look at what how they describe that custom edition, it's not necessarily a Duke Nukem edition.
Yeah, exactly.
They said it was influenced by 80s movies and
oh, that's true. Yeah, that's
it doesn't
true.
mention Duke Nukem specifically at all, even though the bundle does come with those Duke Nukem games.
No, I have to Sherpa my puppy out from under the table over here, because the last time he went in there, he knocked out my network cable. Get out of here! You gotta unplug something. You silly. Anyway,
Unfortunately, my dog only destroys my wife's stuff. Somehow it knows what things are mine and things are mine.
well, that's a good trait to have for you anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think everyone else is agreeing too. Like, yeah, November is when you have the big drop, because that's where all the
Yeah, and that's not necessarily Evercade. That's everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
You gotta
yeah,
have
I mean,
some time to
it's
get
gonna
that
be
stuff at the stores.
it's gonna be pretty cool. So I guess the last thing before we get into like wrap ups and stuff would be, all right. So July, what are we playing in July? Like, what's the plan? Evercade related. Like, what are you going to be playing?
Well, probably still in the middle of Total Plan Arcade 2.
Nice.
And then after that, I'll get. I mean, there's only 7 games, and I've already played 2 of them, so I've got 5 left on there. And then it'll be the Commodore 64 collection too. And
Okay.
I'm surprised if I'll be finished with that in July.
Okay. All right.
My cousin was in town last weekend. He's a big retro gamer like me, and we've been playing. We've made it a point now to when we're together, we're playing a lot of our arcade collections. So we're trying to beat every arcade game that's multiplayer on the Evercade. So when it comes to us, we've been playing a lot of Total Plan arcades. When I go visit him with the family, we'll be playing stuff over there. So yeah, I'm going to be just continually getting better at those games. That's my goal.
That's really cool.
And we're taking account of how many lives we're using too on a piece of paper, and just seeing how long it took us to beat it and all that kind of stuff. So
nice.
That's what I'm doing for July when I'm not on holidays.
Nice. Dan Estes saying he's trying to play Sydney Hunter and Pico, but don't they come out in August?
Yeah, I don't think they're coming.
I think according to the drops.
Are the
August,
next pre-orders? Are there games out that we pre-ordered? Did I like other than the Duke Nukem and the what's out there for pre-order now that it's not been released yet?
It's the bundle with the T-shirt, and I think it's Pico and Sydney Hunter.
Oh, okay. I probably did pre-order those only. I
Dan
know
says
I
it's
pre-ordered
Dan says
something.
it's July 28th.
Yeah, but depending on where you live, you might not get it.
Yeah, I mean it's not Fun Stock is not kind to me anymore. So yeah, like August.
They're hit and miss, right? I find.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
like it used to be the ultimate. I mean, I'm not like I still love Fun Stock, but it used to be like I would go to Fun Stock and I'd put my pre-order in. Oh, it's coming out the 28th. I'd have that thing at my door by the 20th.
I still love Fun Stock because that's the only way we can get packing like T-shirts and mugs.
Yeah, we get the bundle.
You know?
So I mean, right on the but on there, the shipping date for the bundle for Pico and Sydney Hunter is August 2023. So that's what I got from there. And then maybe they ship the games. No, it says even on the Sydney Hunter and Pico Arcade double pack, it's August 2023.
I've got so many games now, though, dude, to play. Like I'm okay.
Yeah,
there's so many games.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just wait till you guys hear. Well, we'll just go into it right now. Like for me, what I'm going to be playing is I'm going to make a concerted effort to see if I can finish Canon in July.
Oh, that's a great plan, man.
That's what I'm going to try to do. Not take a year and a half to finish Golden Axe Warrior for the next completion.
Well, I think Golden Axe Warrior is a little bit more challenging.
Did you finish that? Did you finish a Golden Axe?
I did.
Okay,
yes.
I kind of had a feeling you did, and I just kind of didn't see it.
we finished it. Yeah, we finished it on Calling All Retro Gamers.
How recent?
Was it? However many months we've had I guess 2 months into the Good Times Club, because now it's the end. The end of every one of my videos on Bacon Ice Cream Productions is the end screen for Golden Axe Warrior with the thank yous for all the members. But I did that because I screen capped the end of the game during that Calling All Retro Gamers. But yeah, it's probably 2 months ago that I finished Golden Axe Warrior finally.
What's funny is like a lot of times when I'm watching videos, I'm literally not like watching the video. I'm more listening to the audio.
That's funny. Oh hey, I didn't know that, but did you know that the Team 17 Pico Interactive 3 bundle with the cup is sold out?
What?
Yeah. I'm looking at Fun Stock right now. You can't get the cup anymore.
I could believe that.
What kind? Was it a mug or was it like the
travel thing?
Oh yeah. I got. You know what? Last time we cleaned out the kitchen, we threw away so many cups. I don't ever want to buy another cup again.
It's the only cup around that'll have a code for your Evercade on it. There it is. There's the code. If you do that on an EXP or a VS.
Oh, that puts you into the test mode, right?
Well, yeah. If you hold the buttons, it'll show you a picture.
Oh, okay.
And it's the tease, because it's like you have the cup and then you do the thing and it's a picture of the mug that they refuse to sell. It's like the biggest troll ever.
Yeah, I'm not into mugs. I've got my two drinks and I'm good. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, I'm not into little mugs.
And oddly enough, it's like the ones I find I get that I like the most, I didn't even buy. They were gifts. Like this was actually a Christmas gift. And I immediately started using it the second I got it. I wasn't even at home. I lost the chat. I don't know where it is. Let's see, where is...
Oh, man.
Oh, here it is. Ah, there we go. I don't know why. On the mobile apps, I have so much more trouble finding what I want on mobile apps than I do on just the desktop version.
Nice. Oh, it looks like Dan's doing Hero Quest. That's cool. Like that's a neat board game thing that they kind of like brought back Hero Quest to do that other thing, and then they started expanding on it. It's neat. I haven't played it myself yet, but I did see an additional the starter edition bundle. It was on sale somewhere. Should take a look and see if I can pick that up again. then
I
Mike
was
said,
going on to the Video Games Plus to make sure I pre-ordered that stuff, and I don't remember my password.
the Sydney Hunter stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most. I know I ordered
Yep.
it on. It's just, what's my password? It's not saved in my password manager.
Yeah. I mean, that would be 100% an awesome thing. Like for VS, like obviously it would be VS only. But if they're like, oh, hey, here's some light gun stuff, I mean, it would be cool. But the only problem with that is the fact that I just mentioned it. It would have to be VS only. It's like, what are you going to do? You can't
Well,
just like put a light gun to your EXP.
Here's the thing. Those old light guns, they don't work on HD TVs at all. They only work on CRTs.
Right.
And I know that they've worked on light guns that work with high definition televisions. The problem is that they're really expensive. So,
yeah, well, that's the Sinden light guns. I think are those that they've been trying to make, and even At Games said that they were going to make something that was very similar. They actually put out a pre-order for their stuff for the ALU, but it never came out.
Polymega's got a pre-order for one too.
What's up?
Polymega's got a light gun that works on.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, if they ever put it out,
if they ever ship it out. Well, there's supposed to be news this month, right? About
there was supposed to be, and it's now July. So, like the frown, the smiles is starting to frown.
Yeah, that's par for course, though.
Yeah, I know.
You got to get used to that Polymega. But at the end of the day, they've delivered their product more than a lot of companies have.
That's true. You have a point there.
Yep.
But it's just because it's like it's so.
Yep.
I've got the biggest case of FOMO because it's like we have an order, and I've got friends that have it and they say it's great. And I'm like, I just want the thing.
Yeah, I use mine all the time, dude. Like I just put all my Super Nintendo kart games on there, and I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's just so convenient for my collection right now.
Yeah.
I'm really
absolutely.
enjoying it.
Well, anyone that has a giant collection, that would be awesome. And for me, I'm kind of up the creek because I don't have modules for the systems that I own a lot of games for. But the second they do like SMS stuff, and I can get either a power base converter or something like that to like do that stuff with, I would love to dump all of my SMS games because God forbid anything else happens to my carts, because most of my carts are just kind of like functional / barely functional because I just kind of brought them back to life. I don't know how long I'm going to have them for, but it would be great to be able to put the collection on a Polymega and be like, oh, I have all my games.
Yeah, it keeps the wear and tear off of them too, right? Like,
right.
And I find I'm playing my collection more now too, which is pretty darn cool. And me and my cousin was playing a bunch of it, and he was trying to finish Donkey Kong Country on there. Which is funny because we did find that ROM, there's a few levels where the color's a little off, but overall it was very playable. Yeah. It's funny though because I had to put in a wired SNES controller because of the lag on the one that you get with it. And in Donkey Kong Country, you need to have no lag on the controller, otherwise you're gonna die a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of the jumps in that game, like the time jumps are so you can't have lag.
What's funny is I remember when Donkey Kong Country came out, and I was at Best Buy. I remember I was looking to buy a game. It's my one thing I kind of wish I didn't buy was Donkey Kong Country, because the game I was gonna buy, I couldn't decide between that or Earthbound, and I went with Donkey Kong Country. And I kind of wish I
would have probably chose Earthbound. I think Earthbound's a better game personally, but Donkey Kong Country just got a lot more love because of its technical achievement.
Everybody keeps talking about how good it looks, and I never really liked the way it looked.
On CRT, I found it look really good. On regular,
I'm talking about even on a CRT. I kind of wish it stayed with pixel art, but
again, did you have that opinion back in the day, or just now
No, back in the day.
In the day. Well, that's fair.
I always had the unpopular opinion. Like I never liked the fact I never
liked
Mario 64 because I was like, I don't want to play a 3D Mario game. I want to play a 2D one. I know a game is good if Pro doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I like Ocarina of Time because I don't want to play a 3D Zelda. And why does Link have a horse? To me, a horse seemed very out of place in Hyrule because there were no other animals in that kingdom like we have here. But all of a sudden, there's a horse.
Don't get me started on Zelda in general. I don't even. I don't like. I'll lose subscribers if I get my. Actually, no one who likes Zelda really like goes to my channel.
You might gain subscribers.
Right.
I must
This
say, I
guy
did a
doesn't
little
like
series
Zelda
on
too.
Tears of the Kingdom on my channel and went over quite well. The community was quite supportive because I
That's
never
cool.
really played Breath of the Wild or anything like that. So I must say it was pretty cool. The Zelda
Nice.
fans
I
were
think
nice
it
to
took
me.
them way too long to come out with Tears of the Kingdom because
Yeah, and
only
the
reason I
Switch
bought
can't handle it very good. Looks like arse, man.
The only reason I bought Breath of the Wild was because it was the only game worth buying when the Switch was launched, and I had a Switch at launch. And I turned out, I was like, oh, it surprised me. I really liked it. It was the first Zelda game I really liked since Link to the Past. And then
Oh,
I
Link
was,
to the Past is just an amazing game. Like it is like top
but
notch.
but now Tears of the Kingdom come out, and I'm in the process of like not buying games anymore. I'm literally like selling a lot of my collection off, and the more I sell off, the more I want to sell off the rest of it. So I'm not buying physical games anymore. I'm not even
I'm buying
playing on this.
physical indie games and supporting homebrews and that. But I too am
Yeah,
going through my collection, saying, "Hey, if am I going to play this in the next 5 years? Probably not. Why do I like let somebody else get an enjoyment?" So I'm kind of bringing my collection back down to my nostalgia IPs
Yeah.
and stuff like that because yeah, it just I don't know, it just I guess that's the evolution of a collector, I guess, right? Like every collector goes through that. Like I look around, I feel sad if I look over and I see I got a game called Crave on my original Xbox. I'm like, hey man, I'm not probably going to play that anytime in the next 10 years. Do I really want to hold on to it when somebody else will want it, right? But
Right.
well, what got me thinking about it is like I had a lot of games that I had like on the Switch and on PlayStation 4 and stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, this game's on Steam. And if I was going to play this game now, I'd rather play it on my PC. So why not just sell that stuff?
Mm. Yeah. Well, then for me, it's like it's one of those things where it's like I have some stuff that is kind of a holdover, but I'm preventing myself from collecting anything more because I physically can't handle anything else other than stacking these lovely small boxes for Evercade up, and that's it. That's the only
Yeah,
thing that's physical that I can. I don't have any space for it.
that's
Not,
really
not
the
until
only
we
thing.
move.
The only things I decided that I
are you
collect
moving?
for other.
But I
Are you
mean,
moving?
eventually.
If you do move, you.
Yeah, I mean, it's in our plan. It's in our like 5-year plan. So eventually, this space will be a different space.
But the
But
only stuff I collect right now, well, considering, other than Evercade, Commodore 64 stuff, the Atari 8-bit stuff, and Atari 2600, that's it.
nice. Yeah.
I'm not actively collecting anything right now, just Evercade. That's really
And
it.
I'm not even
Yeah.
really actively looking out for stuff. It's just that if I go to a show or something
Hmm.
and there's vendors there, that's the only stuff I'll look at.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, for and for me, I mean, I would see, like, I'm kind of feeling the pull for certain Master System games to like want to play them again, and I don't have them. So it's like, all right, well, if I'm at a show and I see one and it's a good price, then I'll probably pick up some. But the problem is the two that I have the most nostalgia for are like two of the upper tier games, and they're expensive. So it's like, because it's R Type and Goose and Ghosts, and I was like, oh man, I'd love to grab those again and play them, but like I can't find a cart for under $80
Well,
for
that's
either.
the other thing too. Is like if I really wanted to play the games, I'm fine with playing them emulated. I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't really need to play on original hardware.
right. So, but yeah, so, but yeah. Well, Jason was saying like, oh, you should get Riggs to do open cart surgery on them. Well, I'm kind of doing that already. Retro Riches Restorations is basically that show, but just me doing that stuff, and it's been pretty awesome too because a lot of community members have been coming into the show now and saying like, oh hey, like for example, I did one for Wonder Boy and Monsterland for the Master System, and then during the
That's a good
process
game.
of cleaning the cart, I knocked off one of the capacitors to the cart, and I was like, well, I mean, maybe it'll run. No, it doesn't run. You need
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
cap on there.
you
But
need
they're
that
like, oh,
circuit.
we could just source the cap and then like solder a new one on. And I'm like, I guess I could try. I mean, what do I have to lose? Like the cart doesn't work now anyway. Might as well, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but it's been fun. That's a fun thing to do is to
What's
just
really
kind of like try.
I'm
funny-
terrified of doing that stuff.
If
So
when I was selling a lot of the NES games I had way back like maybe 8-10 years ago or something like that. I was testing every cartridge before I put it up for sale, and usually if it didn't work, it just needed to be cleaned. I had a copy of Contra. I kept cleaning. It wouldn't work. I took it apart. Turned out that one of the traces of the circuit board was broken.
Huh.
So I actually took a physical wire, and soldered the one point that went to the actual pin, and it worked.
No way.
So, yeah, and but I had to cut the case a little bit because of the wire. It needed to come down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I sold it, but I sold it when I bought a booth at a video game show, Video Game Summit,
Yeah.
and I was selling stuff. And the person I sold it to, I was selling it cheaper than normal. And I was like, look, this reason I'm selling this is for this price is because I literally put a wire in it to make it work. He
That's
bought
awesome.
It, so.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would have picked it up too. It's like, well, if it works, let's go. Yeah, Ghouls and Ghosts on the SMS is awesome. I love that game. I used to play that one. There was like five games in my Master System back in the day that were always in rotation. It was Phantasy Star, Miracle Warriors, Ghouls and Ghosts, Golden Axe Warrior up there, and Zillion. And like everything else I would dabble in because I had like 10 or 12 other games. And I would dabble in those, but those 5 were like always, if I sat down to play, one of those went in the cart during that play session for sure. But I loved that game. It was hard. It was super hard, but I didn't mind that. R-Type is another one that kind of like found its way in every once in a while, but even that was like way too difficult for me to like just try to grind through. But and it is one that I want to get back, but I do have IREM Arcade 1, so it's like you kind of have the better version of R-Type anyway. So there's that.
And I think that R-Type Dimensions is on Steam, and I think that's the first R-Type, and you can switch back and forth between enhanced graphics or the regular graphics.
Yeah, he gets me too. I'll watch Riggs videos when he does those cards. I love when he does that. He actually was direct inspiration for how to do the thing, because I had 2 friends tell me that I should try to save the carts, and I was like, well, I don't even know how to do any of that stuff. So I was actually watching a lot of Riggs videos back then, and I was like, oh well, I could probably just do what he was doing. And it's funny now too, because I bought that thing at Too Many Games when I went to the expo. I bought their mystery box, and inside the mystery box was the 2019 handbag that was for that convention. Inside of it was a 1-up card. It's the same thing that John uses. So now I'm going to start using that.
Oh yeah, I have
in the
a couple
thing.
of those.
I was like, oh well, I mean, now that I have that thing, it's like I was just using whatchamacallit, like cotton swabs, and and that
You know what? To me, those work just as good too.
Yeah, but like it's cool to have like the semi abrasive stuff to clean off some of the dirt, and like I'm literally cleaning dirt off the cartridges.
You ever try a dry what's it called, the Mr. Clean erase pad or whatever?
No, on a cartridge.
Yeah.
No,
You just have to clean it after, but that stuff really gets stuff off.
Huh.
Like that's what it's made for. It's like you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. The magic eraser. Yeah.
The magic eraser. That's what it's called. Yeah. I've used that a couple
Yeah, I
times.
use those.
Things were...
I'll have to check
You
that
gotta
out.
watch out for the paper on your cart, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm talking about the insides on the circuit board too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so what do you guys got coming up on the channel?
Okay, well, tomorrow I'll be streaming on the Crow Containment channel Jet Set Radio, which is
Nice.
what I said I was going to stream last week, but last week the power was out for half the day at my house, so I didn't stream anything. And on top of that, it's going to be the last stream I schedule on that channel because I have something else in mind. I'm going to try, since I got a long weekend, I think I can get something out by Tuesday, something brand new. Well, not necessarily brand new, but I got an vague idea of what I want to do, and hopefully I can come up with like a kind of a new series like based on that. And then I won't really stream that much anymore on that channel because I was streaming because I wasn't really doing anything else. But so I got some sort of plan in my head. And then on the Crow Pinball channel, some table. I don't remember what's on the list. I haven't looked, so there'll be some pinball table on Wednesday. It depends
Nice.
on what wins that poll. And then the Evercade channel, I'm just working on going through Toaplan. I like Toaplan Arcade 2. Once I finish playing through that, and I'll start working on the video. But again, I still got 5 games to go on that.
Very cool. Very cool. What do you got, Pete?
Excuse me. I just put up that video about my Evercade, so go check that out with the being able to kind of fix my biggest complaint with the EXP for me anyway was actually have proper audio and stuff. So I think one of the simplest solutions that I really didn't even think about or so yeah, go check that video out. I've got some Evercade videos coming while I'm on vacation, plus some other cool stuff. I also just launched my new membership tiers over on the channel, so I've got smaller tiers available, and I'm hoping to really put more content in my membership. I just released my Vancouver Retro Game Expo shorts, so I went to the shorts, talked to a bunch of people, so I got all those shorts up on the membership channel. But yeah, just tons of stuff coming out. Yeah, just having a blast.
Nice, man.
What's funny is when you said when you found a solution to make it louder, I was expecting, I kind of was expecting, but I knew what you didn't do. It was open up the Evercade.
No, I won't do that. But like,
because
it can't be hard to replace the speakers. I would think it's just I don't really want to do that. But I had this cool device, and it just sounds amazing. Like
it's
night
more,
and day.
yeah. It's more than just replacing the speaker, because you could do that with like the original Game Boys and stuff. But there's like an amplifier board you have to go with it and solder that in.
Well, I don't want to void my warranty.
No, that's true.
I'm more likely going to void the warranty myself these days.
So, and then over here on our side, of course, we've got another retro restoration coming on next Friday that I'll probably shoot over the weekend here. We had an SMS trilogy, so we're gonna move from SMS to we're gonna go back to the Atari 2600 and pull out a game, see if we can get one of those back. So that'll be pretty cool. It'll be a random game. I'm just gonna put my hand in the bins, whatever I pull up, we're gonna go for. And then there's some other stuff that, you know, because I've been diving into that whole Lord of the Rings, Magic the Gathering stuff. Some more unboxings of product there because my quest continues to try to complete the at least the base collection of cards there. And then we're gonna play.
Hey, Rich, are they available? Those cards, like, the Magic, they split it out. Like, I was just looking for like not to play the game, but just collector cards. But I don't know which one are they. Draft boosters? Which ones do you look for collectors?
So if you're just collecting, draft boosters and set boosters are fine as long as you can get them for a reasonable price. If you're looking to collect some of the more like really cool looking cards, there are some exclusives in the what they call the booster bundles. There's 2 different bundles that have exclusive cards in them. So you would have to get those if you wanted all of the cards. But if you're just looking for like, oh, I just want to complete my like full set without any of the fancy stuff, set boosters and draft boosters are the way to go.
Which one? Yeah, because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, so draft boosters are for if you're going to actually play the game. Set boosters if you're just looking to collect the cards for visuals and stuff, right?
Yeah, for the most part. And then, well, the only other difference is between the cards, the card sets. There's 15 cards in a draft booster and 12 in a set booster. Okay. And every once in a while, you can get, if you get a good box, you can get more cards that are better in a draft booster box than you can in a set booster box.
Okay.
But other than that, that's it.
Yeah, everywhere I checked, it's like they're all sold out everywhere.
Yeah, people are going nuts. Well, they were going nuts because they were trying to get the collector boosters to try to get the 1 of 1.
Yeah, there's apparently like a 1 ring, right?
That's right. But it got pulled by one of your Canadian brethren, actually.
Oh, really?
During the week, yeah. They announced the pull yesterday. He had it graded already by PSA, so it's the search for the 1 ring is over, but the quest continues because there's other serialized cards and all sorts of other stuff in the collector's boosters.
What did it get graded as?
Over. Yeah, Wizards hit a home run on this. That's for sure. But,
well, it's Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's the greatest fantasy franchise of all time, arguably, right?
Exactly. And yes, 100%. Yes, Good Times Club goodness coming your way as well. Actually, 2 videos for Good Times Club members. There's the meeting that got delayed I was trying to do it last night, but it'll be a walkthrough of the Studio B is what I'm going to call it for Bacon Ice Cream Production. So that'll be pretty cool for channel members. And then of course, you guys get the restoration show early. So it's pretty good stuff. All right, guys. Well, that is it for today's Evercast. And
actually, I might not be on the show next week.
I think
no
no one's on the show next week.
Oh,
We
really?
should tell
'Cause-
them.
Yeah, I was about to
Everybody
announce
knows
that we're taking a
okay.
break for
I
next
didn't realize
Saturday.
that was next week already. Because actually, Video Game Summit's next week, and that starts at 10, which is the same time this starts.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So no show next week. So we'll be back in action all together, I think, the following week. So that's the 15th. We shall return on the Evercast. We're going to take a week off because everyone's doing different things. So, but yeah. So we'll see you guys then. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you later.
Goodbye, everybody.
Take it easy, guys.
We really need to replace this hand, like big time.